Ladies and gentlemen, hello. This is lesson number 6 or lecture number 6 from the essay writing course number 1 at the Open University, the Department of English Language and Translation, course 213. In this lesson, my goal is to discuss a sample of an exam that students before you have taken, because I know that students are interested in exams, and I also know that exams are a very important step in the learning process. And I say this because in an exam, students really concentrate because they want to do their best and they want to succeed. So when they get an exam, they want to know why they've done well or why they've done badly. So this is my way to help you with an exam, all right, for those of you who have taken the exam, to give you samples of answers. And for those of you who have not taken the exam, it's a good chance to see what the exam involves. In this case, the exam involves a cartoon by Hijazi and a short passage about the Egyptian Knowledge Bank. Now, in discussing the cartoon or in writing about it, you can use many of the modes that we discussed before. The modes are listed in front of you: narration, description, cause and effect, comparison, contrast, process, and definition. So we'll start with the cartoon. Now, this is a cartoon by Hijazi, and very clearly up above you have the name Sis Said. And of course you all know that Sis Said is a very popular figure in one of the novels by Naguib Mahfouz. Now, in this picture you have the family of Sis Said, his wife and his son, and you have actually two images of Sis Said. You have him standing in person, looking very happy about himself with his big mustache and his smile, and a picture of Sis Said on the wall. And he's telling his wife that that's the correct way of bringing up their son, all right? He has to study. So he is tied to the chair, and the chair is actually tied to the desk, and he is not allowed to move except move his eyes in order to study his lesson. So he tells us in the Arabic bubble that it's very important that you bring up the child in the right way, and by doing what he has done, he is tying the son to the desk so that he succeeds, so that he studies and succeeds. Now, let's see what some of your classmates have written. It's not exactly what they have written, but I have edited some of what they have written. But these are the issues that can be discussed in relation to a cartoon like this. What do you observe about this cartoon? That's the first question you ask yourself. There are three characters: the father, the mother, and the son. And the son is sitting on the desk studying. He is tied with a rope to the chair. The son and the chair are tied to the desk, and the father is the only one who speaks. The mother is silent, and the son is silent too. Which of the modes of writing can you use? Can you use narration, description, cause and effect, process analysis, definition? And there's one that is not mentioned here, which is classification. Now, it's interesting to give a portrait of Sis Said. Who is Sis Said, and why does Hijazi associate the father with Sis Said? Now, Sis Said is the central Egyptian male character created by the famous Egyptian novelist Naguib Mahfouz in his Cairo trilogy in 1950. The three volumes of this novel, and it's actually his masterpiece. Now, Sayyid stands for the Egyptian man who is domineering, who is very powerful, who's very strong. He's the father and the husband who has power, he has influence, he has an impact on all the members of the family. He's depicted in the film adaptations of this novel by Mahfouz, and he has become a symbol of the Arab male figure who is a tyrant, and the members of the family have to obey him. They can't do anything but obey him. So the father is a dictator, a tyrant, and the son is a prisoner. The father has full control, and the son has no freedom whatsoever. In the caricature, his eyes are closed, and he has a big mustache, and he looks happy. What is the significance of having his eyes closed, and what is the mustache a symbol of? Now, the cartoon shows the belief in the idea of Sayyid. He is proud of what he's doing. He is backward. He is proud of himself. He is domineering, and he has the upper hand, and everybody has to obey. He looks satisfied because everybody at home obeys him. He has no idea what education is about. Children now learn through storytelling, through songs, and through other cheerful activities, by going out, by visiting museums, but not necessarily by tying the child to a desk. Now, the mother. From the caricature, what kind of a mother do we have? She is silent, all right? She has pity on the boy, but we do not have any evidence as to whether she supports her husband or not, all right? She has no authority to object, and she is passive, and she actually seems helpless. But she's also kind-hearted. Her face looks like that of a kind-hearted woman. Is there any evidence that she rejects or resists what her husband is doing? Well, clearly she does not speak, which means that she has no voice. She has no opinion. And now the portrait of the son. Now, he has no freedom. He is oppressed. Like the mother, he does not speak, and he has no voice. He will hate studying. If this is how he is forced to study, he will definitely hate studying. He will not think for himself, and he will not be creative. He will lose his sense of imagination, and it's very possible that he becomes angry from what his father did to him, and eventually he will rebel, all right? He will reject what his father asks him to do, and it's not very clear to us unless we produce a study how this kind of treatment will affect the son. Now, if you write a paragraph and you deal with those points, what do you think you would like to focus on? Would you like to focus on the relationship between the father and the mother, the relationship between the mother and her son, the relationship between the father, the mother, and the son, a relationship in which the mother is not allowed to express her opinion or to protect her son from what her husband is doing. And of course, this is very serious. Now, the second part of the exam is a part where you read a few sentences, a paragraph, about a topic And the questions will not be questions that will lead you to copy anything from the paragraph or from the extract. It will require that you think for yourself. Now, this paragraph is about Egypt launches the world's biggest digital library. Now, we all know what a library is. A place where there are books, a place where you can go and read, or a place where you can go and conduct research. And in some libraries, you can actually borrow books. But what is a digital library? We'll read the passage and we'll see how much we can understand about what a digital library is. This extract is taken from the website that is right in front of you on the screen. So if you want to read the rest of the passage, you can go to this website and you will find more. Now, as you notice, when I find a difficult word, I open a square bracket and I add the meaning of this word, because I know that in the exam you are not allowed to have a dictionary with you. I introduce the meaning of the word to help you with understanding, because my problem is not simply that you understand, it's that you understand and interact with what you understand. You understand and you produce a point of view about what it is you understand. So the paragraph says the following. In an effort to boost means to improve and advance, in an effort to boost access to quality research and educational materials, the Egyptian government has launched the Egyptian Knowledge Bank, EKB, on Saturday, 9th January 2016. This is very recent. Now, the EKB is an online library containing material from some of the most prominent international publishing houses such as National Geographic, Cambridge, Oxford, Reuters, and Britannica. On its very first day live, the Knowledge Bank received over 1.8 million online visitors. According to Cairo Post, after having been started by President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi himself. Conceived as an online knowledge and information hub, a center, with free access to books, journals, audio, video, or image libraries and software from around the world, the beta website is available in English and Arabic, although the official launch will be on January 23rd, according to EKB's Facebook page. Any person with an Egyptian IP, and IP stands for Internet Protocol, any person with an Egyptian IP address will be granted free access to the website. Now, from reading these few sentences, it becomes clear that the EKB, the Egyptian Knowledge Bank, is a digital library, meaning it's a library online with books that are electronic, not in the form of a hard copy. Now, as the passage implies, this is for research and educational material. So this is to improve the quality of research in Egypt and to improve education, and to make available material resources that is not easily available in libraries or on the internet. Now, here are the 5 questions that you are supposed to answer. Now, I'm going to read the questions in order to show you that you will not copy anything from the passage. If you copy anything, you will be making a big mistake, because the answer is not in the passage, the answer is in your mind. Let's read the questions together. In your own words, explain what is the Egyptian Knowledge Bank. Why would President Sisi himself introduce this library? The answer of this question is not in the passage. It is a question that requires that you think about what is the purpose of this digital library, why is it important, and why would the President of Egypt himself decided to launch this library. What is the difference between the Egyptian Knowledge Bank and a regular bank? Again, the answer to this question is not in the passage. So you know, as a mature human being, what a regular bank is, and what you need to know is you have to express yourself in correct English in short sentences to compare and contrast what the difference between the Egyptian Knowledge Bank and the regular bank is, or what the differences are, depending on how many differences you have. Now, question number 4, why is a library important? Again, the answer to this question is in your mind, not in the passage. The following question, how will this new digital library improve research in Egypt? This is an important question from my point of view. And again, this question involves an answer in your mind. How will this research improve the lives of Egyptians? Same thing. Now, I will move on to show you how many possible answers are available. There are many possible answers available, and all the answers are correct. So the first question says, in your own words, explain what the Egyptian Knowledge Bank, what is the Egyptian Knowledge Bank? So your sentence has to start with, the Egyptian Knowledge Bank is an advanced online library where one can access quality research and educational material on various topics and in different fields of knowledge. Users of this website can download books, articles, audio, and video material for free. Another possible answer, the Egyptian Knowledge Bank is an electronic library that has resources from well-known publishers all over the world. So here the writer did not copy from the passage. The passage said it had material from National Geographic, Cambridge, Oxford, Reuters, and Britannica. The writer did not copy from the passage, but used his own words in saying that these resources are from well-known publishers all over the world. So another possible answer, the Egyptian Knowledge Bank is an online library that can be accessible from any computer at the user's home or work. You can easily identify a mistake in this sentence. It's from, not form. Okay, so it's accessible from any computer at the user's home or work. Another possible answer: the Egyptian Knowledge Bank is a site that makes important sources available to researchers and readers. Why? Because it provides Egyptian researchers with local and international sources that can be accessed from home, the class, office, or any other academic institution. The Egyptian Knowledge Bank is a knowledge information center that anyone can access for free. Now, you notice that all the answers except one have the verb to be. And the verb to be means what comes before the verb to be is defined in what comes after the verb to be. So in this case, in order to answer this question, the mode you need to use is definition. And in this case, the Knowledge Bank is an advanced online library, an electronic library, an online library, a site on the internet, a knowledge information center. So it can be any of these or all of these together. Now, the second question is, why would President Sisi himself introduce this library? Now, President Sisi is a very busy man. He has a lot to think about. In fact, he has the whole country to think about. Political issues, economic issues, social issues, international issues. Now, why would he decide that the library is precious enough for him to decide to launch the library? Now, President Sisi himself launched this library because he wants to spread knowledge and convey the message that education and research are important for the future of Egypt. So this shows President Sisi's awareness that knowledge and research are the seed of the progress and development of Egypt. The future of Egypt will not improve without research in every field. All right, this is why the library has material in every area. Another reason is because he is interested in new ideas that will lead to development. So the library introduces new ideas, and the electronic library itself is a new idea. Now, another reason is simply that he would like to promote knowledge, to make knowledge accessible to anybody who is interested in acquiring knowledge. Now, another possibility, he desires to encourage those who use the internet, all right, because many Egyptians, especially after the 2011 revolution, are using the internet. So he wants to encourage the productive way of using the internet, especially with the young people. So he wants the young people to acquire the skills of conducting research, to learn from what is available in order to introduce something new. And he is eager to make the resources available, all right? So if you go to a bookstore to buy books, books are expensive. So here is an online library that has books for free. Now, another possibility is that President Sisi knows that one of the tools to develop the system of education is through the use of advanced methods of the acquisition of knowledge. All right? To acquire knowledge, you need advanced methods. And these advanced methods are through the internet. And on the internet, you can find a lot of lectures, a lot of articles, in fact, a lot of books, all right? And all these convey knowledge. Another possible answer, that he is both directly and indirectly declaring that the President of Egypt is interested in knowledge, education, and research. Of course, it shows that he realizes the value of research. This is why he is making the sources available for everybody to use them. And he also realizes that this research will develop the system of education. Another possible answer is that because President Sisi values knowledge. Now, of course, you realize by now that these answers are randomly arranged, all right? There isn't an answer that is more important than the other. Some are long, some are short. In fact, the final example on the screen is he values knowledge. 3 words, okay? Now, there are also other possible answers. He understands the benefit that will result from this project. So if you improve the education, you improve the way of thinking of the Egyptians, you improve their productivity, so you improve the country. And he believes that the result of this project will be enhancing the quality of research. Now, another possible answer is President Sisi would like the Egyptians to understand the value of such a project, all right? So when he launches it himself, people realize that this is an important project, not a simple project like any other. Another possible answer is that President Sisi wants to alert the Egyptians to the value of this resource. All right, so if anybody else launches this library, people will not really pay attention. Another possible answer is he is aware that learners use the internet and that such an online library will assist them in developing their knowledge and in conducting research. This is actually a repetition of an answer on the previous slide, but it's said in a different way. But this is all right. I am just showing you that many possible ways can be used, many possible answers can be correct, and here you are. Now, President Sisi launched the library himself because it's an online resource that will save time, money, and energy, and the researcher does not have to travel to get books, but the books and the other resources are available online. You know how crowded the streets of Egypt are today, and this is why it's a good idea to have a digital library, because it can allow the researcher to access the books from home or from his office or from anywhere he is in. A final reason is an online library includes an enormous number of books and educational material, all right? Again, he realizes that the variety of books can allow a variety of people to become members of the Egyptian Knowledge Bank and to actually use it. Some of your other classmates have given other possibilities. One of them says that this library is a national project that will lead to progress and development. And this is why President Sisi wanted to highlight the value of this project. Now, someone else said that President Sisi wants to assert personally the value of science and research in the building process of the new Egypt. All right, Egypt after the revolution should be exercising a lot of time and effort in improving its condition. All right, like any of the students who do not want to make an effort in thinking or in being creative, one student wrote that he launched it because it's important and a useful project for the people of Egypt. All right? Yes, this is the correct answer, but it's not an answer that is inspiring, that makes me feel that the person thought about it really well. Now, another possibility is he is aware that the impact of this virtual library will be immense. All right? And it's true, because a lot of people now are making use of this online library in Egypt and elsewhere. Now, this question is more related to what is a library? What is the difference between a library and an economic and an Egyptian knowledge bank? Because this sentence says that it's not a regular library but an institution that will serve the country. All right? So it's not like any other library, but it's a service that the Egyptians will all benefit from, and whoever benefits from it will tell his relatives and friends about it, so that they can share the knowledge and they can share the fun. Many Egyptians are using the internet, and an online library is now very necessary. Now, also, he did something that he believes is useful and appreciated. All right, people love what he does. All right, and they are happy that he launched the library, as the Library of Alexandria was launched and was one day one of the most famous libraries in the world. He wants to offer the Egyptians information and knowledge in order to conduct research that will contribute to the production of knowledge. All right? So the books that are available already introduce knowledge, but reading these books and looking at reality, the listener, the student, can think of possible argument, a point of view that will contribute to the research in the field. Now, here are other possibilities. I don't think I need to read more, except one where he says that this is a breakthrough that deserves to be acknowledged, meaning this is a landmark in the history of Egypt. And it should be mentioned so that whoever doesn't know about it will find out in order to be able to get the best material possible for his or her research. Now, what is the difference between the Egyptian Knowledge Bank and the regular bank? All right? Now, this again involves comparison and contrast. All right? What are we comparing? We're comparing the bank we go to, where we deposit money, and the Egyptian Knowledge Bank that has books. All right? So the EKB enriches the minds of Egyptians, but a regular bank enriches the pockets of those who have money in their accounts. Of course, the person who is making this statement is joking, all right? Comparing between being rich because of money and being enriched because of money in the bank. In this case, which bank is it? All right. What enriches your mind is the regular bank, or what enriches your mind is the Egyptian Knowledge Bank. All right. Now, again, in this question, you need to introduce definitions. You have to define what the Egyptian Knowledge Bank is and what a regular bank is. All right? You could also deal with comparison and contrast. So it's definition and comparison and contrast. A bank is a place to deposit money and to make sure it is safe. All right? Because if you leave a lot of money at home, it can easily be stolen. Using the title EKB for this online library is to indicate that it contains reliable material for research. And of course, this is very important. All right? That the material is not old and it's being renewed all the time. The Egyptian Knowledge Bank is a virtual library that offers resources for research. All right? So again, it's a library, but one that is online, virtual, and it offers resources for research, but the bank offers services that have to do with money. Right? The library enriches the mind, whereas the bank enriches the pocket. All right? So again, part of this is a restatement of something that was said in the first point. Now, here the writer in this answer introduces similarities and differences. All right? And this writer says both the Egyptian Knowledge Bank and the bank are similar in that they have treasures. All right? So books are treasures and money is a treasure. So the EKB is an electronic library that has valuable resources that render it as important as a bank that has money and jewelry. Jewelry here is misspelled. Please go to the dictionary and find the correct spelling of jewelry. Now, jeweler here means the man who sells jewelry, but the correct word that should be used here is jewelry. Now, you are college students, and if you find a mistake like this, you need to correct it and make sure that you are on the right track. Regular banks deal with money and business, but the EKB makes knowledge available for researchers in all fields. Regular banks are for everyone, but this website is for readers who would like to develop as human beings. So here again, we have a comparison and contrast. Now, here are other possible answers, all right, that are quite varied. The EKB is for enriching knowledge, but the bank is for investing and saving money. All right? Now, this here shows there is a comparison. All right? So there's definition and comparison at the same time. The EKB is, the bank is, and with the word but, we have a comparison and contrast. So it's very important that when you write an answer, you know which mode you're using and are you using the correct mode or not. But what is very good about these answers is that they are in the words of the students, and students now understand that whatever they copy from the extract will not be correct. They have to use their mind and they have to use correct English. Now, one other possible answer is the EKB can receive visitors any time of night and or day. But the bank has formal hours. All right? So here is another good difference that was not mentioned by other writers. This one says, by simply being Egyptian, one has access to the EKB for free. Now, the question is this a full answer to the question? And the answer is no. You need to say more, all right, because this answers only part of the question. It tells the reader what the EKB is, all right, but it doesn't tell the reader what a regular bank is. So this answer is missing an important point. We can link it to the answer that follows. In a bank, one deposits or withdraws money. In the EKB, users find books, periodicals, and videos. All right? You can actually deposit books, periodicals, or videos that you have borrowed from a library in what is known as a deposit box. In any library, there's a box where you can put the material that you borrowed. To have an account in a bank, one pays fees, but the EKB is free. The regular bank deals with millions of pounds, but the EKB deals with millions of online visitors. Now, I think the answers are extremely interesting because they provide a lot of possibilities, all right? And they can actually be introduced in a good paragraph if you sit and read them all and think of what a possible topic sentence for this paragraph can be, all right? And you list the similarities and differences between the regular bank and the Egyptian Knowledge Bank. There are limits to what you can do in a bank, but in the Egyptian Knowledge Bank, knowledge is accessible, and the only limit is how much time and effort you have or are willing to devote to reading and research. This is an excellent answer because although it starts in a very simple way, there are limits to what you can do in a bank. It's true, all right? In a bank, you simply go to withdraw money or deposit money or to invest, all right? But in the Egyptian Knowledge Bank, you can read endless hours about topics that have never occurred to you in the past. And it's not only in English or in Arabic, it's in more than one language. The EKB is for all Egyptians, but the bank is for specific users who have money, all right? But then, yes, I would say I agree the EKB is for all Egyptians, but how many Egyptians can use the internet? All right, this becomes a problem because can the Egyptian farmer use the internet? All right, this is a question that requires some research in order to distinguish between specifying. When you say all Egyptians, this is a generalization that is really not acceptable. Now, here's a general question. And again, this question has to be from your mind and from your experience and from your reading, all right? Why is a library important? And the answer to this question is not in the passage at all. It's in your mind, all right? A library is important because here we have cause and effect, all right? So that's one of the rhetorical modes that can be useful here. A library is important because it makes sources readily available, not only in a physical space like the Library of Alexandria, but online, anywhere a user has a computer and an internet connection. A library is important because it's a site for knowledge and fun that broadens the user's horizon. Now, it's a site for knowledge and fun. Yeah, we can all easily agree that the library is a site for knowledge. But how can the library be fun? Of course, there are some books that are interesting, that can make you laugh, all right? And so that's where the fun is coming from. But another aspect is that in the library nowadays, there are workshops for writing, and this is fun. There are storytelling sessions for children, and this is fun. There are videos being shown of films and plays, and this is fun. The library has now become a center for cultural activities, not simply a place where one can borrow books. All right? One last point here is that in a library, you can meet very interesting people. All right? Sometimes libraries invite writers to sign their books. So it gives the readers the chance to meet the authors of books and to talk to them about their books. The library is contributing to the information and knowledge revolution in the world. Now, I am giving you so many options because I want you to try to read them with concentration and to tell yourself which of these is correct from your point of view, which of these is not an idea that you can develop. All right? Now, let me move to the question before last. How will this new digital library improve research in Egypt? Now, you have the answers listed for you, and the idea is, if we have research about the best way to do to teach, the best way to plant the land, the best way to cure diseases, the best way to do any activity that is based on knowledge, all right? Research that develops this activity will be helpful if it is implied in developing the country. Now, as I have read the previous slides, I'd like you to read these on your own and to be able to determine which of these is convincing for you and why, or what would you write in answer to a question like this. Now, here is the final question. How will this research improve the lives of Egyptians? All right? Because in the end, President Sisi is concerned about the life of Egyptians. And when you conduct research in trade, in industry, in science, in technology, the goal is to improve the lives of the Egyptians, all right? Because research leads to development, and development is the driving force of progress. So the launching of this library is an extremely important event, I would say, in the cultural history of Egypt, all right? Because if research manages to help with the development of the different fields, the result will be an improvement in all the aspects of the lives of the Egyptians. I hope this was an interesting lecture for you. And if I were you, I would find a reading piece about any topic that you are interested in. Formulate questions similar to the ones formulated here and try to answer these questions in your own words. I would also advise you to find a caricature or a picture and write about it using one of the modes listed at the beginning of this lecture. Now, I hope you enjoyed this lecture, and your homework is to find a cartoon or a picture and to write about it, and at the same time to find a text and read it and produce questions of your own and write answers that will show that you're using your mind, your critical skills, rather than simply copying out from the text. This is the only way to learn to express yourself, and this will help you in thinking critically and in using the language in creative ways. Okay, goodbye for now.